Good morning, great morning, wonderful morning, spectacular morning, outstanding morning, magnificent morning, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious morning. Again, the beautiful reminder of choice that you have, that I have, that we all have. And what is that choice about? Remember, it's about thought, and it's about nothing else but thought. How you think is the only thing that you have control over. You don't have control over your behavior, like what is shared everywhere. It's not true because your behavior happens automatically based from how you feel. How you feel comes from how you're thinking. Now, again, really think about that for just a moment. It's all rooted in what's in the mind, and you are the one that ultimately has control over it. It's just a matter of whether or not you're going to claim that mastery over your mind. And that's what we share here at Elevitality. We share with you the power of your mind. We share with you who you truly are. And the more you get to understand that, the more power you have. Why? Because that's how everything is delivered. It's always thought externalization. Remember, the real world you live in is not this material world, even though that is an important part of it. It's actually the effect that you're engaging with when it comes to your outer world and the physical part. See, the real world you live in is an imaginal world, it's a thought evolved world. And the sooner you connect with that and understand the laws and how everything works, regardless of whether or not you're knowledgeable or ignorant of it, the sooner you'll be delivering the results that you desire for your life. And again, that is so important for you to get, for you to understand, because that's literally where all the answers are. So, with that, as we go through this, remember to use what we're talking about here because it means everything. As a matter of fact, we challenge you to challenge everything that we're sharing with you, to test it against what's happening in your life. And then from there, operate from it as you are revealed all the answers of what it is that you've come up to see. And again, the sooner you do that, the sooner you will actually see the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Isn't that a statement that's been shared from the good book? It's so important for you to get. Now, what does this have to do with anything when it comes to your life? Well, it has to do with everything when it comes to your life. Why? Because we're talking about the results of your life. We're talking about the outcomes, how much you earn, what you do for work, your lifestyle. And this is important because we brought this up recently. We brought it up many, many times that, just look at your results as feedback. If you don't like the results that are there, the thing you've got to understand is that those results are there because of a cause. And if you don't like those results, you got to deal with the cause. And many of us have an incredible amount of knowledge. We've read this book, read that book, gone to this class, taken this course, gone to that seminar, studied, and yet the results aren't showing. Well, you can trace that back to one thing if that's the case for you, if that's what's been happening. And that is, it's just that it hasn't been used in the heart enough. And again, that's really important, see, because everything that we're sharing with you is, it's not something that's going to change your life if you just use it once or twice. No, you got to use it continually until it becomes something subconscious within you. So again, really think about that because that's what it's about. And that's what we share. That's what we made as the very first lesson in our program Emergence, the golden rule of application. And really, that's like the biggest deal ever because that's what it was for me in my life. And that's what it was for Dolly in her life. We knew it, but then what was missing? It was the use of it. So again, grab onto that, make sure that you're using that in your life and for everything that we share. And then if you do enough times, that's when you'll start to see the shift. All right, so what have we been studying? We've been studying this beautiful gem here, As a Man Thinketh and Out from the Heart. Now, if you don't have a copy of this, make sure that you do have a copy of this. This is a beautiful gem that's been here for over 100 years, and it's something that has been set in motion as something to be used to learn a lot about what's in your mind, which then delivers your outcomes. Now, James Allen did a wonderful job of opening the door and helping people to see that it is truly as within, as without, as so within, so without, as within, so without. With that being said, there are some things that we go through here that we refine it even more, not to say that he was wrong, but just to go more in depth to break it down so it's easier to understand so that it's clearer. With that being said, make sure you have a copy of this. And more importantly, yes, do highlight it. Yes, do underline it. Yes, do memorize it. But more importantly, apply it in your life. All right, so let's go into this, shall we? Let's go into where it is that we left off. Type in the comments, I'm ready if you're ready. You ready? I'm ready. So let's go ahead and do this. 1, 2, 3, boom. All right. So we're on page 11. I think before it was page 10, page 11. Now, here's a statement that actually demonstrates exactly what I'm talking about in terms of improving it. Yes, it's true, within delivers the without, but this here needs to go deeper and it needs to be explained so that it's easier to understand. See, men are anxious to improve their circumstances, but are unwilling to improve themselves. They therefore remain bound. Now, on the surface, that looks like it's, wow, that's true. Oh my gosh. But unfortunately, it doesn't actually break it down to help you to understand it. See, when you look at this sentence, yes, it's true that there must be a willingness to improve yourself. But here, this implies that if you aren't doing that, that you are willingly staying where you are. And that's not the case, is it? Remember, all negativity is subconscious. In terms of willingness, that's something that's only applied towards, something that's towards expansion, full expression, towards growth. And when you look at this and you see it, it's actually not explained to help you to see what's really in the way when you don't move forward, because it's the program that causes you not to move forward. It's not you willingly say, oh my gosh, I'm going to stay where I want to be. Now, let's apply that to your situation in terms of whatever you go through, or your situations, or whatever you're going through. And here, in this first part, he points out the anxiousness to improve the circumstances. Here, there's that dissatisfaction, this yearning, and this desire, and this compelling urge inside to improve your circumstances, conditions, and results. That's something that is in you, which is in your spiritual DNA. Now, let me ask you this question. Is it true that you don't want to make the change, that you don't want to move forward and have this incredible outcome shift in your life to where, for instance, you're earning a lot more than what you're earning, or that you're doing more than you're doing right now? Are you unwilling really to not do that? Or is it because there's a strong subconscious pattern in you to where not doing those things is not the norm? Now think about that. Because when you understand this, what it removes is the guilt and the shame and the weight on your shoulders. So again, really grab onto what's being said here, because this is fascinating to me as I look at this. Because yes, while James Allen is amazing, incredible, and while yes, I do really love his works, what I just shared with you hasn't been challenged in over 100 years. As long as this has been around, I don't know anybody who in the personal development world who actually challenges this. They just accept it as the truth, when really it's much deeper than that, and it's much more profound. Okay. So think about that for you, and use what I'm sharing with you to separate what's really in the way. It's not that, for instance, if you fell into this and you looked at it and goes, oh, I'm unwilling to make the change. Bullshit. You are willing to make the change. It's just that the paradigm in you is stronger than the image that you've accepted and are holding as true in your heart. That's all it is. Just keep holding that new image. The next thing you know is, bam, you will move, and therefore be put into motion to deliver the outcome. Now, the man who does not shrink from self-crucifixion can never fail to accomplish the object upon which his heart is set. This is as true of earthly as of heavenly things. And this is true. There's no way that you're going to be able to see the new version of you grow unless the old version has been released. Think about, for instance, a caterpillar. And what it does is it walks really, really well. Then it goes into the cocoon. And then because it goes into the cocoon, a metamorphosis happens to where the wings start to take shape and then it breaks out and then it flies. See, the old version of what it was before has to completely go away in order for it to be able to fly. You can look at an analogy using baseball. There's a runner that's on first base. Will they be able to get to second base without releasing their foot from being on first base? See, the answer is no. And it's true. You have to willingly say, I release you when it comes to your old way of thinking in order to make it so that the new thinking becomes the new normal. And this is something that most people don't understand. But the thing is, why is it such a difficult thing to do? Well, this is where, again, we go with the next level to help you to understand. It's just solely because of the paradigm, because of the deeply rooted programs within you that are buried within your heart. It's not because you're not willing to make a change. It's not because you don't want to make a change. It's not because you're lazy, which is a bunch of bullshit. It's just because there hasn't been a committed decision made within you to do the very thing that you would love to do. And that's another important lesson that was placed within emergence when it comes to the second lesson of decision. You know, when you have a procrastination problem, it's just because you have a habit of being indecisive. Be decisive. I got news for you. That procrastination will disappear. It has nothing to do with laziness. Now, before we go further, for those of you who are watching this live stream and are feeling connected to the depth of what's being shared here and would love to get more of this in the remainder of this call and the recordings, then do yourself a favor and go to elevitality.com and register for Master Your Mind. You will thank yourself later. Now, let's go further. Now, before we go further, type in the comments hearts if you're loving the depth of what we're